Once on top of a hill, there lived a family. The father was a farmer and the mother took care of the house. The little children played gleefully in the foot of the hill. One day there was heavy rains. There was a sound of a huge rumble and it felt like the earth shook and moved. And soon everything that they held dear and near to their lives was no more. It destroyed their house, their livelihood, and everything that belonged to them. In their darkest hour, people came to help. With their help, they moved to a new location. Even though being relocated, they had doubts and fears that landslides could occur in the location where they were living presently. This is Mulhalkale village, located in the hilly terrains of the Walapani division in the Nuwara district of central Sri Lanka. Over 1,000 individuals call this place home. This is the Nandasamy family. Nandasamy is a farmer by profession. His wife Anulavati helps him in the field every day. The daughter studies at a nearby school in the Mulhalkale village. They have been living in Mulhalkale since 2007. This was not their original home. They were relocated.
ජනවාරි මාසේ 11 වෙනිදා වැස්සක් ආව ලොකු වැස්සක් ආවා. එදා අපේ මිදුලෙන් උල්පතක් මතුණා. ඊට පස්සේ රෑවෙන්න උල්පතේ වතුර ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි වෙනකොට අපි බයට අල්ලපු ගෙදරට ගියා. පහවදා ගෙදර ඇවිල්ලා ළමයි දෙන්නයි අපි දෙන්නයි කුඹරට නාය ආපු එක බලන්න අපි කුඹරට ගියා. කොම් කරලා ගෙදරට එන්න ආවා එන්න බැරි වුණා අගලේ වතුර වැඩි වුණා. අපි ඊට පස්සේ ඒ දණ්ඩක් වගේ හදාගෙන ඒ දාලා මේ පැත්තට ගොඩ වෙලා ගෙදරට ගාවට එනකොට ගෙදර තිබ්බ තැනක්වත් තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඒ වඩේ වෙලා අස්පිරෙන් නැතුව වගේ ගියා. මේ මගේ ළමයි දෙන්න බේරගත්තේ ලොකුම වාසනාවකි.
Tens of thousands of people were displaced by landslides in mid-January 2007 due to incessant rain prevailed in the island. According to the then Ministry of Disaster Relief Services, more than 80,000 people were compelled to shelter in 80 makeshift camps. Among the worst affected areas were Walapane and Hankuranketha in the Nuwara district, about 150 kilometers from the capital, Colombo. According to government ministries, nearly 20,000 people were left homeless as the slippages destroyed 156 homes and partially damaged another 741 in the two areas. It has also been seen that people are being exposed to more frequent and severe hazards. While hazards are increasing in frequency and severity, their impacts are intensified by various dynamic processes such as population growth and climate change.
2010 ජනවාරි 25 වෙනිදා අපි මෙහි පදිංචියට ආවේ. ඒකලා ඇවිල්ලා මේ කූඩාරමේ හිටියේ. මෙතෙන්වත් කූඩාරමක් අපිට ලබා දුන්නා ග්‍රාමසේක මහත්තයා. ඒ ඉතින් කූඩාරමේ ඉන්නකොට කූඩාරමේ ඉන්න බැරි තත්ත්වේ වුණා අපිට කූඩාරම් බට කැරෙන්න පටන් ගත්තා. ඉක්මනින් ඊට පස්සේ පුතා ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් දාලා මේ ගේ හදන්න උදව් කරවුවා. 2010 අපිට රතු කුරුස එක මේ සමාජයේ මුණ ගැහුනේ.
From the express needs of the at-risk communities, the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society, supported by the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies and the Norwegian Red Cross, took steps to assist communities in building their resilience to natural hazards through identifying and addressing risks, raising awareness and strengthening capacities in the newly relocated village of Mulhalkale. This is how the community-based disaster management program came into effect in the Mulhalkale village. Community-based disaster risk management, in short known as CBDRM, is a process of reducing people's vulnerabilities and strengthening their capacities to prevent, mitigate the impact of, prepare for, and cope with hazards.
For Sri Lanka Red Cross Society, working with the communities for disaster management, for disaster risk reduction is a core business. It is part and parcel of us. It's something like the bloodstream, content of the bloodstream of Sri Lanka Red Cross Society. Disaster management, disaster risk reduction. We have continuously been working with the communities in assisting them, improving their capacity, working with them for mitigation purposes, working with them for responses, assisting them to plan, to identify a contingency plan to how to react during a disaster.
In the CBDRM process, people are in the heart of decision making and implementation of risk reduction activities. Priority is given to the most vulnerable in empowering them by their active participation and capacity building. Disasters can strike quickly, anytime, day or night, and often without warning. Disasters damage natural and physical resources on which people's livelihood depends. It also exacerbates the poverty through the loss of assets and employment opportunities. It can also separate you from your loved ones, force you to evacuate or confine you to your home. With appropriate knowledge, skills and attitude, communities can make themselves and their families safe from natural hazards. Keeping this in mind, the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society invested in empowering disaster-prone communities to be better prepared, resourced and trained so measures can be taken to reduce the impact of an ensuing natural hazard events and recover quickly from a disaster situation.
If I specifically speak about the CBDRM program, in the last 7 to 8 years, we have worked with over 200 communities. This invariably has supported nearly 100,000 families to identify specific mitigation needs. And we have assisted them to build maybe culverts or maybe evacuation centers or even repair their evacuation centers. Work with the school children in these communities to identify the best evacuation route if there's a sudden flood or even if there was a tsunami sometimes. So Sri Lanka Red Cross has been fully involved with the communities, assisting them. Now if I take the program we just concluded, we have worked in Gampaha district, we have worked in Ratnapura district, we have worked in Matale district and Nuwara. Among these districts, we have worked with nearly 25 communities in the last 15 months. We have helped nearly 10,000 families through this program in the last 15 months.
Sri Lanka Red Cross Society's CBDRM approach is mobilizing communities, facilitating them to assess the disaster risk, supporting them to plan for risk reduction, organizing them and implementing disaster risk reduction initiatives, and network them with stakeholders. Today, the village comes together to test their disaster preparedness plan and access their ability to face a future hazard event through a village mock drill.
වලපනේ හා හඟුරංකිත කොට්ටාස දෙකේ විවිධ නායම් වලට ගොදුරු වෙන ප්‍රචාවට මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය තුල ආපදාවන් එක්ක කොහොමද ප්‍රචාවගේ දායකත්වය ලබාගෙන ප්‍රචාව ශක්තිමත් කිරීම ආපදා සම්බන්ධින් විවිධ දැනුවත් කිරීම පහුගිය කාලය තුල ප්‍රචාවට ලබා දීලා ප්‍රචාව ශක්තිමත් කරමින් මේ වැඩසටහන ඉතාම සාර්ථකව ක්‍රියාත්මක කරගෙන යනවා.
Today's mock drill, which simulates a response to a landslide in the area. This will inform them on the areas they need to improve within their village preparedness plan.
අපි සමාකරණ වැඩසටහන සංවිධානය කිරීමේදී මූලිකත්වයේ ගත්තේ ග්‍රාමීය ආපදා කළමනාකරණ කමිටුව. ඒ කමිටු සමාජිකයන් එක් වෙලා අපේ ගම්මානයේ කොහොමද අපි සමාකරණ වැඩසටහන කරන්න කියන එක පිළිබඳව ඔවුන් සාකච්ඡා කළා. එහිදී අපි අවසන් සැලසුමකට පැමිණිලා සමාකරණ වැඩසටහන කරන්න දිනයක් සහ අපේ සමාකරණ වැඩසටහනේදී අපි සහභාගී කරගන්න පාර්ශ්වකරුවන් පිළිබඳ සාකච්ඡා කළා.
In case the situation worsens after the initial announcement has been made, then another siren will go off, alerting the villagers to move to the safer evacuation place using identified paths. Search and evacuation teams will be deployed to seek the injured. Once the injured have been located, teams will carry them on stretchers to the safe evacuation center. If the injuries are major, they will be immediately taken to the hospital, where prior alerts will be made to the hospital about the arriving injured persons, so they could be prepared to receive them. Meanwhile, back in the village, first aid teams put up a first aid post in the evacuation place. They assist the people who require services like the elders and pregnant mothers. First aid teams also take care of minor injuries. Team managing the evacuation center registers the people to ensure effective relief assistance. Everyone in the village will stay at the evacuation center until they get an official message stating all clear and safe for them to return to their homes. Soon after the mock drill, every member who took part in the drill gathers in a debriefing session to discuss the outcome of this exercise and, more importantly, what needs to be improved. In the debriefing session, the representatives from the Government District Disaster Management Center gives his observation on the mock drill and ways to improve the preparedness and response capacity. He also orients the villagers again on the use of a simple rain gauge to measure the rainfall and rainfall intensities that could trigger landslides. Representatives from local police also attend the event. This exercise provides an opportunity and platform where there is an interaction between government functionaries and community.
අපිට පුළුවන් වුණා විශාල වශයෙන් ආපදාව ගැන හඳුනා ගැනීමට පුහුණුව ලබා ගැනීමට ඒ වගේම ආපදාවකදී අපි කටයුතු කරන්නේ කොහොමද හඳුනා ගැනීමෙන් පස්සේ අපි මොනවාද කළ යුත්තේ යන කරුණු විශාල වශයෙන් දැනුවත් කිරීම ශ්‍රී ලංකා රතුකුරු සමාජයේ නෝල්ලි දිස්ත්‍රික් ශාඛාව මගින් අපි දැනුවත් කළා. රතුකුරු සමාජයේ මගින් අපිට මූල්‍ය වශයෙන් ආධාර ලබා දෙමින් අපේ විහාරස්ථ දායකකාරකාදී පින්නතුන්ගේ ආධාර උපකාරය ශ්‍රමදායකත්වය ඇතුළු කොට ඇති අපි මේ වෙනකොට ඉතාමත්ම ආරක්ෂිත මධ්‍යස්ථානයක් බොහොම සාර්ථකව මේ වෙනකොට හදලා නිම කරලා තියෙන අද දිනේදී
මම පෞද්ගලිකවම 2007 වුණ නායෑමට ලකුණ කෙනෙක් ඊට පස්සේ අදත් වෙද්දි එදා මම නායෑම ගැනවත් නාය ගියාට පස්සේ මොනවද වෙන්නේ මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ කියන දේ දැනන් හිටියේ නෑ ඒ වුණාට අද වෙද්දි මම බොහොම දැනුවත් කොහොමද මේ දේවල් වෙන්නේ මෙහෙම වුණාට පස්සේ මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ කියන දේ ගැන ගොඩක් දැනුවත් වෙලා ඉන්නවා.
Knowledge is power when it comes to empowering people to protect their lives and livelihoods from disasters. This is why it is an important investment to have communities participate, develop and implement plans which would make them resilient to future hazards. The Sri Lanka Red Cross Society has been a key player in implementing the CBDRM model across the island, which has been identified as a model building community resilience. The UNDAC Disaster Response Preparedness Assessment Mission Sri Lanka in November 2011 highlights the CBDRM approach of Sri Lanka Red Cross Society as a best practice. Educating families like Namdasamis has built their confidence in taking control of their future and groomed them into leaders for reducing disaster risk.
Community resilience to disasters is a very important aspect. Today in the world, there are disasters that are happening which we have never imagined. We need to really learn out of that when we do this kind of programming, and we need to develop our own contingency program. Natural disasters are getting increased day by day, and that is very important. It's very important for us to continue this kind of program.
මේ වගේ ගම්මානයක ඉන්න ප්‍රජාව ඊටාම අල්ප වශයෙන් තමයි ආපදාව කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? ආපදාවකදී සූදානම් වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක පිළිබඳව දැනගෙන හිටියේ.
වලපනේ හා හඟුරාංකිත විවිධ නායම් තත්ත්වයන්ට මුහුණ දීලා විවිධ කණ්ඩායම් වලට මේ පුහුණු වැඩසටහන් වල අවශ්‍යතාවය තදින්ම දැනුණා.
හදිස්සියේ කරදරයක් වුණොත් මිනිසුන්ව බේරගන්නේ කොහොමද? එහෙම තුවාල වෙලා ඉන්නවා නම් ඒ අයට ප්‍රථමාධාර දෙන්නේ කොහොමද? මේ අවුරුද්ද කාලයක තුල මේ හැමදේම ඉගෙන ගත එක ගැන ගොඩක් සතුටුයි.
අපිට හැකියාව ලැබුණා රජයේ ලියාපදිංචි ග්‍රාමීය ආපදා කළමනාකරණ කමිටුවක් මුලාලකලේ ගාමලේදාරි වසන්තර ස්ථාපිත කරන්නට
ප්‍රජාව තමයි සැලසුම් සකස් කරන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ප්‍රජාවගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයට තමයි මේකේ ප්‍රමුඛත්වය ලබා දෙන්නේ.
ආරක්ෂිත මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ හදන්න අපි සැලසුම් කරේ. සැලසුම් කළා ඉවරලා මාස දෙකක් යනකොට අපි ඒක ගොඩනගා ගන්නට අපිට ශක්තිය ලැබුණා.
අවසාන ඉලක්කය වශයෙන් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ ශක්තිමත් ප්‍රජාවක් බිහි කිරීම.
ඉදිරියේදී එහෙම ආපදාවක් අපේ ප්‍රදේශයට ආවොත් කිසිම බයවීමකින් තොරව අපිට ස්ථාවරයක් එනකල් කටයුතු කරන්න පුළුවන් ශක්තියක් අපිට තියෙනවා කියන එක බය නැතුව කියන්න පුළුවන්.